Bonjour les amis. This is GenerateHER coming to you directly from the City of Light. I'm Jane Bertch, a Chicago native, Paris-based entrepreneur, author, and your partner in personal reinvention. I've spent the past 20 years living and working in Paris, and after leaving the corporate world and deciding to create something of my own, I've discovered both the beauty and the challenge of building a life shaped by curiosity, creativity, and a sprinkle of courage. These are the practices that lead to true transformation. So whether you're planting a seed in your Jardin Secret, your secret garden, or giving voice to your creativity for the very first time, let's step into your next chapter with intention. And of course, with a touch of Parisian charm. So as we say in French, on y va, let's go. Bonjour, friends. Welcome back to GenerateHER. We're in the height of summer, and of course, summer makes me think about growth in your Jardin Secret. You know I was going to say it. I'm hoping you're stepping back in there after all the planting you did in spring. And as you're walking through your garden, I hope you're looking for these wonderful things you've been nourishing. Perhaps you've even found something new and surprising. That's the beautiful thing about taking care of your garden, is if you take care of the seedlings and the soil, the rest is going to do the work for you. And I want to tell you what's been growing in mine, and it's very much a part of what I've been working on these past years. So you've heard me say over and over and over again, my passion has become to work with women, in particular, to help them figure out what's next for them, or to at least start them on the path of listening to their intuition, having courage to make small choices that move them forward, helping them think about their creativity, because I feel if you don't have a sense of creativity, you lose the ability to reimagine things. You can't reimagine products, you can't reimagine your business, you can't reimagine yourself. And then that starts to tank out on your confidence. So why is the Jardin Secret so important to me? Because I'll tell you something I'm planting and I'm working on and I'm nourishing and I'm trying to prune because I'm getting a bit out of hand, but I'm really loving it. So you know I have my experiences here in Paris, but I also know there's so many women around the world who could benefit from a system that supports them, and a system that supports them in bringing their ideas and their vision to life. And I'm going to use the word helps them become an entrepreneur. And I'm using that because I believe the word entrepreneur is a noun and a verb, okay? To be an entrepreneur, you can do that for yourself. It's about agency. It's about self-efficacy. It's about taking control of who you are. Can you be an entrepreneur in your own life? Can you have stewardship over who you are and what you want to be and how you want to develop? That to me is just as important as the woman who says, well, I want to build a business. So I'm working on something exclusively for that, for women. And if you're interested, I'd love you to go to my website, drop down in the how to work with me. You'll see a spot called the Paris Incubate Her. I'm going to start building that out and I'm going to start sharing what I'm doing there. But that little seed got planted in my garden and I found it. I didn't plant it myself. It blew into my garden and I found it sprouting up when I realized there's a lot of women who can't get to Paris for whatever reason. And I want them to benefit as well. But I wouldn't have found it if I didn't go spending time in my Jardin Secret, and if I did not look for the fil rouge, that red thread that holds everything together. So yes, I'm declaring I am going to become a tech founder because this is a tech solution that women can use at home until they can get to Paris. Do I know anything about technology? No. But we've been there before, and I'm not going to let that stop me. And I don't profess to say that I feel secure about that all the time. I'm in places and rooms that I've never been in before, and I'm having to figure it out. But that's okay. That's what I'm here to do. And I want to talk about, for you, how are we bringing those ideas and visions and dreams to life? in the context of our Jardin Secret, in the season of growth. And if I make this really topical to today, you know that we've just had some extraordinary heat waves in Paris, and it's going to keep coming back and back and back. So we've got to get used to it. How do you grow under harsh conditions? And that has been a subject for me because my harsh condition is going into a room where I am 20 years older than everybody in there, and they happen to be all men. It's different. But you know what? I've told myself, and I'm going to credit Bosma St. John for this, I belong in that room because I am there. Just like I believe if you have an idea in your head, it belongs there, and it's up to you to bring it out. And that idea wants to be born. It's, are you going to let it? So let's get into that garden. And I want to remind us here in this hot, inclement summer of how we need to be careful and nourish our Jardin Secret. We've talked over and over and over again about soil, but I want to remind us of the importance of soil. My best example of soil is that it must be complementary to your needs. Where are you planting yourself? And the soil in a germination box may be different than if now you're planted in the real world. We all know that. Me, who is not a gardener, I've come to discover it, and I love all the analogies that come out of this. So stay with me. But I want to talk about wine. I want to talk about champagne. I know that's your favorite drink from France. Champagne grapes are born in chalk. That's the soil they live in. In fact, they have these big cellars in Champagne. If you haven't been there yet, they're called the Echterhoff. And they're these very moist, cold, chalky cellars that are way underground. But the point is that Champagne grapes are in this soil that is really inhospitable. It's chalk. It's chalk. Try to grow something in chalk and see how that turns out for you. But for the Champagne grapes, it works. And I'll tell you why. Because the light, the reflection on this chalky white soil keeps those Champagne grapes warm. It sweetens them. It's a wonderful relationship for them. That soil feeds them. Okay, and that soil's not for everyone else. Again, there's a lesson there. Make sure you are in the rooms that feed you. So this soil feeds those Champagne grapes. However, because it's chalk, it also means it doesn't stick together. It can move easily, which means if those Champagne grapes don't have very, very deep roots, they're going to blow away. So thanks to that inhospitable soil, Champagne roots go real deep. They know who they are, and they anchor themselves, and they're able to hold on no matter what. If there isn't a life lesson there in Champagne, I don't know what is. So you're welcome. But I want you to remember the importance of soil and where you plant yourself. And that soil, I mean community, right? I mean the environment and the community that you're around. And I can tell you, I have talked to so many different business people lately because I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'm asking questions left and right. And I always ask every single one of them, when you started versus where you are now, what has made the difference? Okay, from where you started to where you are now, what has made the difference? I can tell you not one of them has said my business strategy. Not one of them has said AI tools. Not one of them has said my funnel, my CRM, my website, none of that. Every single one of them has said my community, the people around me have made the difference. I'm just pausing there so you can think about that. It's the people around you that make a difference. And then I've asked them, is it the same people? And they say some are, some aren't. The people that got me through where I was then weren't necessarily the best people to take me forward. That doesn't mean I've lost them in my life. It just means that I have had these groups that have helped me develop where I am and most importantly, who I want to be. Who are the people in your life that say, I see this in you, go for it, do it. How can I help you? Those are the people that you need to surround yourself with. By the way, not a huge shout out for my retreats, but that's exactly why I created these experiences in Paris so that women could come together and find other women like themselves. Because when you don't have courage, when you don't feel creative, you can call on your community to help you. And community is so important no matter what stage you are. So I want you to think real carefully about who you're surrounding yourself with. And if that community extends out to Instagram friends or people you watch, fine. But do it with caution and care and think about how they feed you. I want to talk about nourishing your soil because that's so important. What are you doing every day to push yourself forward to make sure that your garden is growing? Because you're only going to get one season 2026. Okay. We can't relive this summer. What are we doing now? What are you doing now to grow yourself? And if that means morning journaling or take yourself on a solo trip or having that slow coffee in the morning where you can gather your thoughts, it doesn't have to be big declarative events. It has to be about time with and for you. What are you doing to nourish yourself? Are you going to museums? Are you seeking out culture? Are you reading new books? Are you discovering the beautiful thing that you are? And all the things that you don't yet know about who you can be. There's an urgency here. And I'm feeling really excited about it, as you can tell, because I think when we ask ourselves those questions and when we're with people, and I had this today, a friend at lunch, we left with a whole new business idea and got each other so excited I was ready to go register a website. Who knows if that will ever happen? But when you can sit with people and nourish your soil, who nourish you, who make you think about what you can be and what you can do, that is fertilizer for your soil. So make sure you're nourishing your soil constantly because we know there's lots of things that detract from it. Don't let it be you. Don't let you detract from nourishing your soil. And I want to talk about exploring your garden. So I told you that I've planted something new and I'm growing it now. And I would never have come to that had I not really been exploring and looking around in my garden, not just what I'm building now, but what I want to build for the future. And if I weren't willing to explore and see and play with everything in my garden and what it means, and is it something that I'm happy with where it is now? Am I going to harvest it in the fall? Is it a perennial that I'm going to try to keep over the next year or longer? Is there a weed or two that I need to pluck out? Okay. And those weeds, we know they can be self-talk. They can be people you're surrounding yourself with. They can be how you're spending your time. Those are weeds. Let's find them, pluck them out. But if I didn't take time to really move around this garden of mine, I wouldn't have found this new idea. And it's only in the quiet moments after you've nourished yourself with art and music and journaling and conversations and whatever fuels you, it's after those that growth takes place. And when you have those new experiences, they open your mind to what's possible. Did I ever in my mind think I would build a tech solution? Ever? No. Did I ever think I was going to have a cooking school until I had one? No. Do I have to understand what this means and how it works and how I'm going to approach it and hopefully create something beautiful for people, which is what I want to do? All those are yet to be determined. But my point being, I wouldn't have got there if I wasn't exploring. I wouldn't have got there if I assumed I've already done everything I need to do. There's no more growth in me. There's no more new business opportunities. I hope I have a new idea every year. Gosh, that gets me excited. I love to create, and I think you do too. We just need to be in a moment where we can do it and where we can explore it. And I think as humans, that's what we do best, is creation. That's what we're here for. So how can we continue to put ourselves in that space in our garden where we're creating? And I will tell you this, you create in your mind long before you create on paper. And that is wonderful. So let yourself dream and frolic and move around in that garden and see what's there and see what you'd love to have and smell the flowers that are growing and prune the things that are getting out of hand, but spend time in your garden. That is the most beautiful place to be. And as you're in your garden, I'm going to leave you with this last thought. As you're in your garden, there's a fil rouge. There's always something that connects all the pieces. The fil rouge, we've talked about this before, the red thread, what connects everything. So somebody on the surface, I'll give you my example, might say, oh my God, Jane is trying to be in tech. What is that? How does that fit with anything she's ever done? Well, I can tell you it fits darn well. It fits darn well because I'm trying to now evolve what I'm doing into a service that no matter where you are in the world, you can be a part of a community. I don't want to gatekeep dreams. I don't want you to do that for you, and I don't want to do it for myself. And I want us to find a way to help women who have all of these amazing ideas, okay, bring them to life. When I walk through places like I am now, Station F, if you haven't heard of it, maybe you'd be interested to look it up. It's the largest incubator in Europe for startups. When I walk through there, and it is diverse, but when I walk through there and I walk through other rooms, I say to myself, why are there not more women in here? What in the heck? I certainly don't see many women my age. Is that for lack of ideas? No, heavens no. The women I know are so incredible, quietly incredible, fiercely incredible, so self-assured, years of experience, but something is stopping them from getting that little beautiful seedling of an idea out of their head and into the world. And I am determined to help them do that because when they don't, it's a disservice to them and it's a disservice to the rest of the world. And if that idea is, I want to start a stitching group for my local community, wonderful. If it's, my idea is to reinvent my wardrobe or reinvent me or become a musician, wonderful. If that idea is they want to be a tech mogul and take on Elon Musk, wonderful. But everybody deserves that room where they can bring their idea to life. And I bet you that idea that you've been knocking around, letting knock around in your head is connected to other things you've done. And somewhere deep, there's this wonderful experience or this wonderful tool that needs to be born. And the best place to start is in your Jardin Secret. So this is the season of growth, friends. This is the season of growth. So I hope you're nourishing. I hope you're watering. I hope you're pruning and looking carefully at what's happening in that beautiful garden of yours. And no gardener is going into summer without starting to think about what's happening at the harvest. And guess what? Looking at their garden today and saying, I really love the way this looks. We're going to plan for this next year. This is the time of also always looking forward and doing it with love and care. I want to remind you that the only reason that person you're watching from afar advancing on their idea, the only reason they're any further forward than you is they were just curious. I don't think it's courage. Not sure it's creativity. Not sure they have better people around them. You can choose the people around you. I think they just let themselves be curious. And I hope you do the same. But let's start in your Jardin Secret. That's all for today, my friends. A bientôt. Before we go any further, if what I've been talking about today resonates with you, I want you to know there's a space for you that I've created. Several times a year, I gather a small group of women in Paris for what I call les saisons, the seasons. These are my retreats. They are very tiny, very intimate. Each one is designed around the time of year. So not just the season we're in physically, but hopefully the season we're in our internal seasons. And it's just a wonderful time to return to ourselves. In spring, we talk about planting. In September, it's the rentrée season, which is a beautiful time in Paris. And in the fall, it's the harvest, la vendange, because how can we not talk about wine and all those wonderful messages? So these are not spa weekends, they're not shopping, they're not tourist trips. These are 3 days in one of the most transformative cities in the world, designed to help you pause and realign and start to really think and step into what's next for you. And the women who come, they're curious, they're brave, they're open-hearted, they're just phenomenal. They're hopeful, they're community-based. And if that sounds like you, I'd love to have you join. So take a look at my website. I'm constantly updating different dates for Les Saisons retreats. And I'd love to have you here. You can find them all at janebertch.com/retreats.